Bonjour, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexonia. So if you've never seen me before, welcome. And these videos are inspired by all the incredible experiences that I've had through my entire life, and I was divinely guided to share my messages here with you on YouTube. So they all started when I was 6 years old. So if you haven't seen my past videos, please look at them because this is going to make more sense to you. So in my last video, I was talking about the angel that came to see me, and honestly, I have to say that I do not have the vocabulary to explain how magical this moment was in my life. And you know, I was so occupied on telling you the energy that it brought me, but I never described the actual angel except for the fact that I said that it was androgynous. But it was not like a cupid with wings that appeared to me. It was um, a full-blown human, but in a androgynous form. So the hair was just a soft wave, and it was about shoulder length. And the perfection, I was looking at it and I could just not get over how perfect they are. And right now, if you look on Pinterest and stuff like that, you could see like AI images, and I'm still trying to find like something that would be as beautiful, and with all the beautiful images and the stuff that they make, I still haven't found something that is as stunning as this angel was. And the eyes, and that's something that I never mentioned in my first video, was Jesus's eyes and this angel's eyes. But I can't even describe. It's almost like you could see the world, the universe in their eyes. It's just so, I can't find the words, but it's unbelievable and beautiful. And Jesus's eyes I will see again, and I will tell you, because that's again in the future videos. So now, like I said in my past video, I had to jump ahead to 2013 to tell you about the experience that I had with the angel. But now I'm going to backtrack a little bit, back to when I had the store, because at that period I was learning about numerology. And like everything else in my life, everything that I've learned through, you know, it's happening, and that's how I'm learning how everything, unfortunately. So I told you I had the store, but I never told you what the store's name was. And to be honest with you, I wish I would have caught that a little earlier, but it is what it is, and that's how I had to learn, I guess. So by this time that this happens, I had opened a second store in a different location, and I had painted the building white, and then my the name of my store was like more coming out than the other store, because the other store was like on a red brick, so it wasn't as evident, you know. But through the whole time that I had the store, it was always a challenge. There was always something. I mean, we had 9/11, we had SARS. I had like a lot of magazine articles that were written about the store and myself, and all of this. And then when this particular magazine came to me, this was my favorite magazine, and I was like, this was like a dream for me, that I would be having an expose in this magazine. they were gonna do my house and the store. So I was very excited, but the magazine went under by the time that it came to do the expose on my store. I mean, like it was just like, it was just stuff after stuff after stuff that was happening. And my first store wasn't in a very busy area, which it is now, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess again, it is what it is. So I didn't have like a high traffic, and these magazine articles were bringing some people to my store, and you know, passerbys, but there wasn't a lot of walk-bys, right? So my mother in particular had to keep dishing money into my store to help me out, and thanks to her, I was able to have the store for as long as I had it, because honestly, it was like, I can't explain it. It was just like bad luck after bad luck. And here we go to the name of my store. So I'm at my second location at this time, and I'm about to park my car, and I look at my letters. So the name of my store is called Poof, Poof, and it stands for Paris on One Floor. But now that I am getting introduced to numerology, OOF is 666. So the name of my store had these three letters in it, and would explain why I was having so much trouble with the store, and how that was like something else that they wanted to teach me, that I had to learn in this way. So unfortunately, but when we did have SARS in the city, it was very awful. Like, I mean, like they were showing on the news, like how, you know, people were wearing masks for the first time. This is before COVID, obviously, and this was the first taste of this thing. And so all the stores around me were closing, because I was in a film district, so this area was like very popular for rentals for movies and commercials, and you name it. So during the week, when it was like quieter, these movie studios were kind of keeping us alive, and we were all benefiting from that, and kind of relying on the movie studios. But then they stopped filming movies, because I believe at the time it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that was like the governor of California, and was preventing you know, like the people from coming out of the city to film. So something like that. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, so I was having like, you know, like not really good sales, and I was like, I said, this is the time that I have to think about like closing the store, you know. So I didn't know what to do next. I had like a million questions and no answers, and I really was like stuck. So I asked one of my neighbors who had a store a couple doors down from me, and I said, do you know a psychic that that I can meet? Because, you know, I need beyond answers, right? So he goes, yeah. He goes, actually, I know this guy. He's absolutely incredible, right? So I was like, right on. So he gives me his phone number. I couldn't have ran fast enough to the store to phone this guy to make an appointment, because I wanted to know, right? So I make an appointment with the guy, and so it was like a while from then, because he was like a very sought after psychic, and so I was very anxious for this appointment with him. But in the meantime, my face, I just woke up one morning and my face was on fire. Like I had like hot lava poured on my face. And it was not on my shoulders, it was not on my neck, on my hands, it wasn't anywhere, it was just on my face. And so I went to see my family doctor and like, what is this? What's going on? And then so he's tries painkillers. He starts with like painkillers, and nope, no painkillers were doing. And I mean, I don't know how many prescriptions he gave me of painkillers, and nothing was working on me. So finally, he I don't know, from me praying, maybe he got the answer, but he gives me pills, and they're for epilepsy, for epileptic patients. And so he's like, let's try this because maybe it's something to do with the nerves, maybe it's something to do with you know, your operation in your chin or something like that. So let's try this, right? So once again, I go to the drugstore, you know, get another prescription, and I tried this, and it worked. It was literally a miracle. I'm telling you, I've suffered a lot in my life, physical ailments, and yeah, this was just another one of these things, like where unbelievable. And my doctor calls me like a medical marvel because of all the things that I've been through. And you know, that was just another one of them. So so yeah, so I'm on these pills, and I'm, you know, like I'm getting ready to close the store, and you know, like just organizing everything and having sales, and like thinking of where I'm going to be storing my stuff, like once you know, like once, if I don't sell everything, right, and things. So now I finally get the appointment with this psychic. So I walk into Jay is waiting for me in the car, and I walk into this man's house, and like an 80-year-old man, and he asked me to come in. He makes me sit down, and I was sitting down like in front of a window. It was like a couch, and I was sitting down in front of the window, and he's talking to me, but he's talking to me about, like, you know, how he went to buy tomatoes in the morning, and how he's just, you know, like whatever, he's just talking about like things that's happening in his life, which he's 80 years old, so not much is happening to him, you know. Then he starts to water his plants. So he's talking to me and he's watering his plants, and what's going through my head, I'm thinking, yeah, you know, that just cost me a lot of money, and I just, you know, like nothing's gonna happen here. What is this man gonna tell me? He can barely remember what happened to him like yesterday afternoon, you know. So like I said, he's watering his plants, then he stops watering his plants, he puts the bucket down, and then he goes from like all crunched up, you know, like an 80-year-old man, to like straight up, and he sits down, and then he starts talking to me, and he's like, your face is burning because of the shame that you had to close your store. And I was just like, oh my God, and what is happening right now? Who are you? Because you're not the same old little man that was just talking to me a few minutes ago. And then he's like, you're gonna have a cancer scare. He goes, but they're gonna find out that it was something else, and it's not cancerous, and then you're gonna be okay with that. He says, you're a very powerful psychic, but you don't know it yet. He goes, I'm going to give you some books to read, and he goes, these are going to trigger some memories in you, and then slowly you will develop your gifts. And then he was talking to me about like just things that were going to be happening in my life, and I was just like, okay, you know, this was my first time that I saw a channeler in front of me, you know, like, so it was like very jarring, I have to say, you know. Then he says, your face is going to stop burning. He goes, you're going to go somewhere. And he goes, you're going to realize that you forgot your pills. And he goes, you're just going to realize that your face is going to stop burning. And then he pops out of his trance or whatever he was doing. So, yeah, so I was shocked. I was literally like shocked. So I paid him. I left, and then I sat in the car, and then I was telling Jay everything that just happened, and it was just like, I can't believe that, how weird that was, really, you know, like, and then left it at that, you know. So I finally did close the store, and we went to the family cottage for a week on holiday. And so we get there, and then the first morning, I would have to take these pills first thing in the morning, or else my face would start to burn. Like, well, the second I opened my eyes, my face would burn. If I would get up during the nighttime to go to the washroom or something like that, like, my face would be burning, but then I would fall asleep, and then I would wait till the morning to take my pill. So we wake up because Jay went to the washroom, and I said, can you grab my pills? I think they're downstairs, like, with the food. So he went there, and then he's looking for the pills, and then he can't find them. And then he's freaking out because we live 8 hours away from the cottage. So it's not like we could just drive to the house and get the pills. So he's panicking, and he's looking everywhere or whatever, and then he comes back up, and he's like, man, I don't know what to tell you. He goes, but I think I have to go. I'll drive back home and get your pills. You don't have your pills. And then I looked at him, and I go, my face stopped burning. So it happened exactly how he told me that it would. And I was like, that was like my first time now that had happened from when he had told me, you know. So I was really floored about that, because, to be honest with you, like, that was the first time that I had actually seen like a real psychic channeler, whatever, because the two other channelers that I had seen, it was like, you know, like at the expo, something like that. So the woman, the first woman that had told me that I was a numerologist, and then the other one was something in that lines, but I can't remember exactly like where I had seen like this other person who had told me that I was a numerologist, which I had no clue on what that was prior to me studying it, right? So anyways, so yeah, so my face stopped burning, and then I had like a friend in between who had phoned me to ask me if I wanted to go and work for her. She had a store similar to mine, but across the city, closer to my house, actually, because where I was further. But we were on the same street, on different side of the road, different side of the city. So so then after my face stopped burning like that, I was so relieved and thankful. And again, you know, but the 3 books that he told me to read, this psychic man, first of all, the first one was Edgar Cayce, A River Runs Through It, and which I had already read that book. The other book was God Man by George W. Kearney, I think it is, which, if you've never read this book, it's basically like deciphering like what happened back prior to the Bible, or in the time of Constantine, and how the book, basically the Bible is like a roadmap on the Kundalini if you know what that is, but how to activate your Kundalini. So that book was, again, you know, because like I said, I had like studied a lot of stuff by then, but that was just another one to add to my list of amazing books. And then the other one was you know, and I tried to find the name of this book. I gave this book to somebody, but like most of my books that I lend, I never get back. It's like a mind body, and now there's like, you know, you have Joe Dispenza that has one, you have Eckhart Tolle, you have like Louise Hay, but they all came from this one original book that he told me to read. And it was like how when you have like a pain, for example, me, it was my face burning, which was equivalent to the feeling of shame, which your body comes out with the symptoms of your feelings. So this book was incredible as well. And but like I said, now there's like 100 of these books out there, so you can get your hands on them. And so after I started working for my girlfriend, and then she was changing stores, but just like a couple doors down from where she was. So um, when I went to work for her, it was, our stores were so similar, honestly, that it wasn't a big transition, you know what I mean? It was not like I went from being a store owner to an accountant in an office, you know. I was like on the same street but on a different side. So I was experiencing basically like another business but in a different area of the city. And if I would have known, I would have opened in that end of the city prior to where I was. But you know, another lesson learned, you know. So I started working for her, and I worked for her for I think like a year and a half. And I went for a mammogram, and my doctor tells me that I am, that he suspects that I have cancer in my breast. So that was a shock. And at the time I was working for her, and like I'm lifting like, you know, furniture and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, I just can't keep on working here and doing this, right? So so I let that job go. And then I went for my my doctor sent me obviously to a specialist. So yeah, so this is where I go to get tortured, basically. So it's the mammogram machine, which is a barbaric machine to start off with, and especially if you have smaller breasts like I do. So it basically like squeezes your breast inside this machine from hell. And now they had to take a biopsy. So not only are you being squeezed in and screaming to death on a regular, just a regular exam, right? Now there's a giant needle in the middle of this thing that is stabbing me to go and get some tissue, okay? No painkiller, no numbing cream, no nothing. I could not believe that they would put me through this. And to be honest with you, I've had so many painkillers at the house. I could have swallowed a handful of them like just prior to for this test. But I was not thinking that. I was thinking that they could have done something, right, to ease the pain. I mean, I was screaming, crying, and I couldn't believe it. I leave this room, and I said, never again. This is the last time that I'm getting a mammogram of any sort. I do not care. my body is going to fix itself, or it's time for me to go, because I am not going through this ever again. So that was that. And then now I have to wait for the results of this barbaric contraption machine that just took the samples from me, to see if, what's happening, right? So I think it took a couple of weeks, and I was on pins and needles. I was stressed out to death. I imagine, you're waiting for your death result, basically, or not. I don't know. I was very stressed out. So the secretary from my doctor's office calls me, and she's like, okay, she goes, listen, she goes, he has the results. She goes, but I'm going to tell you, but you have to promise me that you're not going to say anything, or else my job is on the line. And I was like, of course not, of course not. And she's like, you're clear, you're good, you don't have breast cancer. I swear to God, I broke out crying. I was so happy. I was like thanking her, and I was like just the happiest I have ever been in my entire life, because like I had, I've had a lot of stuff, like I've had my appendix bursting, I've had like this chin thing, and now this was going to be happening. So I was just so grateful. And she's like, please, please, please. I'm like, no, don't worry. So I meet the doctor, and I'm telling you, I mean, I should have accepted my Oscar at the moment, because that was like, like, I mean, I had to make it believe like I didn't know, right? Like, so I was like, oh my God, like, so whatever. Like, I'm not an actress, and far from it, from how you're seeing me, um, recount my experiences so clearly. Yeah, that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of funny, because like I left there, and I said to Jay, I go, I said they should have just handed me the Oscar. So anyways, that was funny. But I didn't have cancer, and thank God. But from the episode where I told you, sorry, about my chin, yeah, I've had like fibroids, which are in the uterus, and I had the worst case of fibroids you can ever imagine. I probably went to the hospital, I'm gonna say over 50 times, if not more. The pain was beyond. I had like, and I mean, I was 110 pounds at the time. So I mean, like, I was like a tiny person. And when I would lie down, you would see the fibroids, because I had 13 of them, and I had one of them that was the size of a grapefruit. So when I would lie down, you could see it, and then if you touched them, it was like extremely painful, and would make my time of the month like an absolute nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. Like, I mean, I would call it like a CSI experience, So I dealt with that from the abduction, and that's what I dealt with, and that had a lot to do with Jay and I never having children at the time, because I suffered immensely through all of that. So I had an operation to have the fibroids removed, and then they were going to do the big operation, which is like they take everything out so you can never have children again. But at the time, I didn't know, I didn't know if that was a possibility or not, and I didn't want to take the chance that to not have children if we decided to at the time, right? So so my doctor, she knew that I wanted to not have the operation, but she would do everything in her power to keep my uterus intact. And as well, if you get your uterus removed, your body jumps into menopause like really fast, right? And I didn't want to experience that, and I wanted all my pieces, right? So she worked really hard, and she was able to keep everything intact, right? Like, but they did remove 13 fibroids, and but was able to keep my uterus. So I was very grateful for that. And so, like I said, I've been through so many things, and but I was finally like healthy after the fibroids been taken out. And but I had just as many. I think 6 months later was my other checkup, and I had just as many. So whatever happened to me, and I still don't know, and I still refuse to get hypnotized to know, and I really don't want to know, because yeah, I don't need no more stress in my life, right? So yeah, so this is my story for this. And yeah, so if ever you're opening a business, do the numerology to make sure that 666 is not in the name of your store. And I had this other company that was called La Vente de France, and I was going to call it La Vente de France. But at the last minute, I changed my mind, because I was set on having the signs with like letters, you know, and I had my letters made in bronze. So they were carved in really beautiful letter patterns, you know. But yeah, so, you know, it was meant to be, and I had to call it Poof, and that's what it was. So again, this is my 10th video. I can't believe this, and this is crazy, because nobody knows nobody knows that I'm doing these videos. And except for two people, except for J and K, and yeah, so that's it. Nobody else knows. And this is where I tell you that I love you, and we are one, and we're all going to be awake one day and see how incredible this ride was. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.